Our top story tonight at 6, new video, a different camera angle of that incident where a woman chased a child on an e-bike with her vehicle in the Cheney area. Plus the latest details on the charges that are being pressed on the woman behind the wheel. 3 people are hospitalized, 1 killed. A serious crash near the Spokane airport. How that's now prompting bigger discussions about a problematic stretch of roadway. And the conservative group Let's Go Washington building their case against the new $1 million income tax. That's ahead.
And we've seen a few more clouds in the forecast today and some breezy conditions. However, winds are set to die down overnight tonight. I'm going to get you into our Mother's Day weekend. Temperatures on the warm side. Stick around. I've got all those details. NonStop Local at 6 starts right now.
Sean Osley and Leslie Lowe with content connecting our community. You're watching NonStop Local KHQ at 6.
We begin new video in the newsroom connected to that story that has gone viral nationwide of a Cheney woman who investigators say tried to hit a child on an e-bike with her vehicle. Good Friday evening and welcome to NonStop Local KHQ at 6. Great to be with you. I'm Sean Osley. That original video garnering millions of views online. And now a new angle, a different video has emerged showing the same driver appearing to double back and try to stop that e-bike again. Take a look.
What the Yo!
This new video captured by a resident of townhomes very close to that original video. He said he was outside with his friends when he heard the incident and recorded it. As you can see from putting the 2 videos together, it does appear that after the woman in the video drives onto the sidewalk and drives back off, she continues to follow the child on that e-bike until the end of the roadway, where she flips around again before finally driving off. NonStop Local did reach out to a woman who says she's the child's mom. She says that her child saw the woman behaving oddly and slowed down before the woman took off after him. She also says while he was shaken up, he is doing okay tonight. The incident is still under investigation. Many questions remain about the woman behind the wheel, Wendy Clemente. Our Belle Lewis has been following this case. Tonight at 6:30, she'll dive deeper into the charges against Clemente, why she was not charged initially, and what's next for her and the victim. 1 person killed, 3 others in the hospital, serious injuries. A single vehicle crash on West Airport Drive in Spokane. The vehicle struck a pole, landed on the left side of the roadway. Police say alcohol may be a contributing factor. Police shut down that area for several hours as they were investigating. It has since reopened. Here's what we know right now. Spokane police say the crash happened shortly after 7:30 this morning near West Airport Drive and South Spotted Road. The Major Crimes Unit was called to the scene and then took over. The medical examiner will release the identity of the person killed at a later time. This comes as Spokane International Airport Board plans to relocate the Spotted Road interchange for safety reasons. The board also accepted a $22.8 million grant from the Department of Transportation to help fund that change, the project. Airport officials say the current interchange has seen multiple crashes, and the relocation is part of a broader effort to improve safety and traffic flow for the airport's growing number of passengers. Today, the first meeting of the year for Spokane Salary Review Commission, who will decide potential pay rate changes for both the mayor and city council. NonStop Local KHQ's Noah Bolter was there today and tracks the conversation.
Friday's meeting, the first of many for Spokane Salary Review Commission, who now have an extended deadline to make a decision.
I think this particular work takes, 3 to 4 meetings. 3 to 4 meetings from now until August is very doable.
Potentially an expedited finish.
I suspect we'll probably be done before August.
This discussion, more than just finding the right price for a city of this size.
There's also philosophical discussions about what a city council person is, what their role is. They're not a city employee. They're an elected official only.
Many factors to discuss.
The role that money plays in that, in their job, is also part of the discussion.
Spokane's mayor currently making about $186,000 annually. City council president at about $70K and council members at about $53,000 each. Part of the challenge to this year's commission chair.
These city council members don't necessarily have any particular tasks that they've been given by the city. Those tasks are given by their constituents. Their constituents elect them, and they are the voice piece for their constituents.
The struggle, finding parallels.
Finding comparables is very difficult. When you think about we're trying to compare against employees and jobs, they're not employees, it's not jobs.
Spokane Salary Review Commission's next scheduled meeting, Friday, May 22nd at 3 p.m. In Spokane, I'm Noah Bolter, NonStop Local.
We did want to ask for your perspective on this. What do you think? How much do you think is a fair amount to increase the pay for these jobs next year? During the last review in '24, the board opted to increase the pay for the mayor and council by 4 to 6%, depending. Scanning the code on your screen will give you the chance to personally weigh in. Idaho's closed fire season begins Sunday with burn permits required starting May 10th through October 20th. The Idaho Department of Lands says the annual requirement is designed to help prevent human-caused fires. Permits limit the types of burns allowed based on weather, available firefighting resources, and fire activity across the region. Free permits are available online. Leslie's forecast, always free of charge, usually good.
Usually good.
I meant the weather, not the forecaster.
I'm going to settle for that. I'm going to settle for that.
I'm going to be crystal clear about my meaning and what was behind it on a Friday. We're not going to the weekend with any bad blood here.
No, we are not. Never. It's Friday. We are all happy. And the weather has been spectacular. It really has. And even with a little bit of wind, I think we're doing okay out there. Let's get a live look over Spokane. And again, we've got a few more clouds and a bit more wind as expected throughout this afternoon. Start time temperatures, again, we're in the 50s. We've got daytime highs in the upper 60s right now in Spokane, mid 60s for my friends over in Coeur d'Alene, 65 degrees, and Pullman is 68 degrees currently. In Chihuahua, wind speeds again 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained in the last 24 hours. Our strongest wind gusts have been 26 miles per hour here in Spokane, about 29 miles per hour for the Palouse. Back through parts of central Washington along the basin, that's where we've seen the strongest of those winds, 44 mile per hour gusts in Ellensburg and anywhere from 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts between Pendleton and the Dalles. As far as what we're seeing out there right now, again at about 10 to 15 miles per hour here in Spokane, those winds will slowly start to come down as we head overnight tonight, and clouds will slowly start to clear. So we'll call for mostly cloudy, partly to mostly cloudy skies throughout the overnight. You can see that little band of showers wrapping kind of through parts of western and central Montana. Otherwise, we are all in the clear with those overnight lows that will dip down into the low to mid 40s in eastern Washington and then mid to upper 40s and 50s through central parts of Washington. All right, Sean, when I see you back here, we'll get a full look at that weather forecast. For now, though, we've got to talk about some construction concerns out there. The Arthur Street Bridge over Interstate 90 in Spokane will close for repair starting on Saturday. The Department of Transportation crews will close the bridge from 4 a.m. Saturday to 6 a.m. on Monday. Drivers will need to use the Sherman Street Bridge 6 blocks west to cross I-90 during that closure. Crews plan to remove damaged concrete and pour new material to strengthen that bridge deck. I will also remind everybody that there is some massive construction going on Sprague Avenue, so please be mindful of that. All right, Sean, back over to you.
All right, Leslie, thank you. The Conservative Action Group, Let's Go Washington, says leaders say they will soon start gathering signatures in a push to overturn the recently signed income tax on those making more than $1 million threshold in Washington state. That's per year. This comes just days after the state Supreme Court dismissed their lawsuit against that tax. Senate Bill 6346, better known as the Millionaire's Tax, was signed into law, as you well know, by Governor Bob Ferguson earlier this year, with the aim of generating more revenue from the state's high earners. Republican lawmakers argued that it's unconstitutional to institute an income tax in the state and that it could drive away businesses and investors. Let's Go Washington has not formally announced if they'll pursue a ballot measure this fall or an initiative of the legislature. The ballot measure would require more than 300,000 signatures by July 2nd. But the legislative initiative would require those signatures by the end of the year. Well, like we needed something else to worry about, the Washington State Department of Agriculture warning you tonight to keep an eye out for this newly discovered invasive species, the yellow-legged hornet. Officials say a grain inspector found it during a routine inspection and had it destroyed. WSTA is saying this hornet, highly invasive, has spread in Europe, causing a 30% reduction in honeybee hives and honey production. It is smaller than those giant murder hornets we were reporting on a few years back. Those were eradicated from the state 2 years ago. About 3/4 to an inch long, with a distinct yellow coloring in the lower half of their legs. These hornets are usually found in extremely large paper-like nests in tree branches and other outdoor areas. If you see one, you're asked to contact officials right away. Tomorrow, Washington State University's commencement ceremony will honor students who have completed their coursework. 3 different ceremonies will be held at Beasley Coliseum, happening at 8 a.m., noon, and 3:30. Each one will last about 2 hours. Events are also non-ticketed, and graduates may invite as many guests to celebrate a massive achievement. CEO of Best Friends Animal Society has declared Idaho and Montana as no-kill states. According to data from the national nonprofit, the states are the first in the West to save every healthy and treatable pet in shelters for a consecutive 12 months' time. The nonprofit says Idaho reached no-kill at the end of January of 26, saving 93% of all pets in their shelters. In February, Montana followed the save rate of 95%. Last year, Idaho Governor Brad Little proclaimed February 5th as Idaho Loves Shelter Animals Day. Montana Governor Greg Gianforte proclaimed April 9th as Montana Loves Shelter Animals Day. Still to come here tonight at 6, franchise sale of Seattle Seahawks not drawing as hot of interest as you would think. Noah Schmidt with an update on who's looking to buy the Hawks and for how much.
Are we going to pull our money? Were we going to pull our money for the Seahawks?
We might be able to buy maybe one
hot dog out of the
tethered
stand.
football and a hot dog, maybe a cold beer.
Maybe, if we're lucky.
We're not in the billionaire range.
I don't
Leslie,
think we are.
hate to be the reporter of facts.
Well, that's so true. All right, live look over Spokane. A few more clouds out there, a bit breezy as we get you into this evening. We'll talk about that, get a full look at that Mother's Day weekend forecast. We'll see you back here after the break.
During the month of April, we at NonStop Local partnered with the Spokane Library System and Second Harvest to help fight hunger.
Today, we got a final tally on what you were able to help us collect. Your generosity helped us bring in 6,516 pounds of shelf-stable foods such as cereal and peanut butter.
Yeah, we deeply and sincerely thank you for your generosity, and trust me, it all stays right here. And even as we close the month-long food drive, your local food bank continues to take donations as the work to overcome food insecurity is a daily battle. So if you're able to step out and help them, it all stays right here. It goes to families that are hungry and kids that are hungry. Let's fix that the best we can.
Absolutely.
All right, it's a big weekend for moms, and happy Mother's Day to you, Leslie.
Well, thank you.
Right?
I love being a mom. It's my favorite. It's like the best job in the whole world.
Our kids are grown,
Yes.
but we still view them as our kids. I just said kids.
Yes, I still call them kiddos.
Yes,
yeah.
not too late to make those last-minute plans for Sunday.
That's right. NonStop Local's Giera Cottingham took a look at one option for the mother in your life who loves a bit of history.
Celebrating moms is special, and a train you can hop on with happenings both in Spokane and North Idaho. Families, if you're into history, the Northwest Museum of Arts and Culture is hosting their annual Mother's Day home tour. This is an opportunity for you to treat mom to a look back into the past inside Spokane's historic mansions in the Browns Addition neighborhood. It's also a chance for your kids to learn about the home's architecture and what life was like in the late 1800s. Tea parties and horse carriage rides into downtown Spokane, which then had dirt roads. The tour is guided and it'll take you through 3 historic buildings: the Lowenberg Roberts House, Dillingham House, and the Campbell House. Moving on to Silverwood Theme Park in Athol, Idaho. They opened just a week ago, and kicking off the season, they're offering moms free entry and, even better, discounted tickets on the entire family. Regular pricing is only $45 and $27 for youth and seniors. Normal pricing is usually $85 for regular admission and $55 for youth and seniors. Proceeds from the Max House tour will go towards their education department. I'm told there will be hot dogs in the lawn, live jazz music, and then for Silverwood Theme Park, of course, children 0 to 2 years old get in free. I'll have all the details on those prices on nonstoplocal.com. Reporting in Spokane, happy Mother's Day, Giera Cottingham, NonStop Local.
All right, thanks, Giera. Lots of options for those moms out there. You know what? If you just want to hang out in your PJs all day, have an extra cup of coffee, you can do that too. 69 degrees. That was our high for today. Average is 65. We're above our averages in the overnight hours as well at 48 degrees, and sunset tonight. A little bit of filtered sunshine out there at 8:11. Now, we do still have some gusty winds. In fact, back into central Washington, we're seeing wind gusts anywhere from 30 to 40 miles per hour between Moses Lake up towards Wenatchee, about 34 miles per hour in Ellensburg. To the south of us, Hermiston, Pendleton, again 30-40 mile per hour gusts that extend all the way back into the Dalles. And this is where we have wind advisories back into central Washington, in particular Kettitas County. That's going to be in place until 11 o'clock tonight. This is where we could see some of those wind gusts approach that 45 mile per hour mark, which makes it difficult, especially for those high profile vehicles. So watch for that. If you've got anything loose out on the patio, it could be a little problematic for that as well. Otherwise, as we get you into the overnights, here's our futurecast on winds. Again, you can see that strongest push right there into central Washington. They slowly start to come down again as we get you into the overnights. Areas over towards Ellensburg and to Vantage still going to hold on to some pretty good wind gusts as we head into early tomorrow morning. Otherwise, tomorrow, much quieter. Satellite radar, we've got a band of showers up to the north of us. We're watching right up along the Canadian border here. Most of the activity is for our friends over towards Alberta, kind of pushing down through parts of Glacier Park. We've got a couple of lightning strikes there, and then we're starting to see those clouds push out. So I'll say partly to mostly cloudy skies overnight tonight. 46 degrees is our expected overnight low in Spokane. We'll be at 46 in Coeur d'Alene. Mid to upper 40s down through Orofino into Lewiston. And then we've got mid to upper 40s and 50s from Omak down through Moses Lake at 45. and 50-degree temperatures tonight in the Tri-Cities. So that does top off the lowdown for tomorrow, as well as Sunday. Partly to mostly sunny skies. So we've got clouds in and out of the forecast throughout the weekend. Temperatures, though, holding in the 70s and in the 80s. Again, winds set to pick up again on Sunday, with that stretch of warm weather really continuing for the next several days. So here's our big picture. You can see front again to the north of us as that pulls through. It is bringing some showers again up along the Canadian border, pushing mainly to the east of us. Otherwise, there's that ridge that will build back in as we head through our day on Saturday. We'll start the day with mostly sunny skies. By the second half of the day, that's when we start to see those clouds filter back in as another front makes its way through as we get you into Mother's Day Sunday. Biggest concern with that again is going to be some cloud coverage and some winds. Otherwise, daytime highs for tomorrow: 74 in Spokane, 73 over towards beautiful Coeur d'Alene, 69 degrees in Bayview, 73 degrees are expected high in Rosalia. For the northern mountains, 82 degrees, that's our high up towards Omak. We've got mid to upper 70s between Republic, Kettle Falls, Colville, and Chewelah. Low to mid 70s from Sandpoint into Bonners Ferry. And for the Cascade Valleys, places like Leavenworth and Chelan and Wenatchee, low to mid 80s, upper 70s in Moses Lake, and the mid 70s for Ritzville up towards Davenport, Montana tomorrow. Lower into the 70s, upper 70s near 80-degree temperatures for Lewiston and Orofino. Sunday, we've got upper 70s and 80s expected. Again, we'll see a few more clouds in the forecast and the winds pick up. But look at that stretch of beautiful weather ahead. We'll take a break. Noah's back with sports after this.
live from the Northern Quest Sports Studio. This is SWX NonStop Local Sports.
One of Gonzaga's biggest commitments via the transfer portal has decided to withdraw his name from the NBA draft and focus on becoming a Zag this summer. According to Jonathan Givney of Draft Express, Houston transfer and former five-star high school prospect out of Pocatello, Idaho, Isaiah Harwell will not compete in this week's G League Elite camp scrimmages in Chicago and will not have his name in the NBA draft. Harwell is expected to be a critical piece in head coach Mark Few's backcourt next season. And sources from around the NFL gave an update on the Seattle Seahawks franchise sale that was announced after their Super Bowl win. And interest, well, it's not as high as you may think. According to executives with direct knowledge of the sale, potential buyers, they have started to emerge finally, but the interest has been described as soft, and one executive says interest was even lower than the past two franchise sales of Denver and Washington. However, the sale of the Seattle franchise is still estimated for slightly above $9 billion, which would still be a record price for an NFL team. The last time Emerson Hancock took the mound for the Seattle Mariners, he struck out 14 batters, but it was a no decision as the Mariners lost to the Kansas City Royals. They're looking for a better ending in Chicago for Game 1 against the White Sox, but in the very first inning, it's Munetaka Murakami teeing off on Hancock, a solo home run in the first inning, not how he wanted to start out this game. But he'd get help in the second inning. Cole Young hit by pitch with the bases loaded. That drives in Seattle's first run of the ball game. Then bases loaded again. But in the third inning, Luke Raley tattoos a ball all the way to the bullpen in right, make it a 5-1 Seattle lead. And guess what? The bases juiced once again, but this time for Chicago's Colson Montgomery. Julio Rodriguez trying to run under it and grab it. He can't. It's a bases clearing double, and that will tie the game at 5 runs each. But in the fifth inning, J-Rod would redeem himself. This time, it's a solo shot all the way back to the fans in center. A solo jack puts the Mariners in front 6-5, and that's where we are at right now as we have just started the 7th inning of play. Spokane Indians, they're in the middle of a 6-game series with their Northwest League rivals over at Avista Stadium. And last night, it was the Tri-City Dust Devils who got a big win. But the Indians, they won the first 2 games, and they go into this weekend looking for some positive momentum. They're expecting big crowds at the ballpark for 2 fireworks nights in a row, both today and tomorrow. It's a perfect weekend to go get a hot dog and watch some baseball. First pitch for Game 4 in just a couple of minutes on Military and Veteran fireworks nights. And Sean, they always have the best looking uniforms. I was over there yesterday. They had the Cafecitos de Spokane yellow uniforms. Before that was the Red Band Rally, and they had the blue. I love the Spokane Indians. They have the best uniforms.
Yeah, well, they put a lot of thought behind it. And there's obviously the touch of history interwoven there.
Very
so that's
true.
Incredible.
Yep.
And they have cold beer in the stands.
I was going to say that too. Yep.
True.
Yeah, you know. Yep.
All right, thanks, Noah.
Thanks, Sean.
Here's what we're working on for the 6:30 on 360 coverage. Belle Lewis with an in-depth report on the charges filed against the woman who drove on a sidewalk to chase a kid on an e-bike. A look at the driver's first appearance and what's next in this case. NonStop Local at 6:30 on a Friday in 60 seconds.
Sean Osley with with in-depth 360 coverage of content connecting our community. This is NonStop Local KHQ at 6:30.
What the? Yo!
Well, this is new video showing the moments after a Cheney woman reportedly drove onto the curb in pursuit of a child on an e-bike with her vehicle. Wendy Clemente later arrested at another location after court documents say she broke into a home in Cheney. That is the allegation. Good evening on this Friday. Great to be with you as always. Welcome to the 6:30. Our 360 tonight. Big questions still remain in this case. April 28th, Clemente was arrested after the Spokane County Sheriff's Office says she attempted to kick officers. Here's a new photo from the homeowner of that arrest. Clemente charged originally with assault in the first degree, DUI, and criminal trespass. NonStop Local KHQ's Belle Lewis joins us live in studio. Hi, Belle. One of the big questions from our audience is that despite these charges, Clemente was released on her own recognizance. What did you find out as far as the why?
Yeah, good evening, Sean. To many on social media, that didn't make a lot of sense. We contacted the courts trying to get some footage of the first appearance. Here's that clip.
Miss Clemente, what that means is the state isn't filing charges on this, so we will release you today with no conditions. If they choose to file these in the future, whether here or a different court does, they could send that notice to you by the mail, similar to the last gentleman I just spoke about. So if you get any court dates in the mail, please make sure that you do show up to those court dates. If you don't, you will get a warrant still.
Clemente was released on her own recognizance, but those charges were refiled, as we just heard, and an arraignment was set for the end of this month. Now, the original charges in the felonies, but those updated charges are Class B. But at least one of those charges are strike offenses, which can carry prison time of up to 10 years.
What the? Yo!
Again, taking a look at that new angle showing what appears to be a second attempt by the driver to confront the boy on the e-bike. Of course, this video garnering attention and criticism online, especially after these new charges were filed and essentially downgraded to the second degree. And Sean, we did hear from a woman who claims to be the boy's mother. She says that he noticed the woman in the car behaving strangely and slowed down to observe when she jumped in the car and began following him. She also says that while he was shaken at the time, he is doing okay now. Back to you, Sean.
Thank you, Belle. Belle Lewis reporting on our 360 at 6:30. Belle, thank you. You can see the video on nonstoplocal.com and our social media accounts. Big Six headlines tonight. We're continuing to track the hack of education technology Instructure, well known for their Canvas learning system that went down as many schools and colleges across the nation and several in our area. According to Instructure, Canvas is back online tonight, but many schools still waiting for answers on what exactly may have been compromised. They're not sure. Now, the hacking group, Shiny Hunters, claimed responsibility for that hack. This group also took credit for a massive Ticketmaster data breach in 24. Local colleges saying this incident highlights how important online education had become when access to Canvas was temporarily lost.
It is the primary communication device for faculty to work with students.
How much do you guys rely on Canvas to do
everything? Everything. That's how I do my homework.
In a statement, officials at Instructure say that information stored in Canvas is limited to student IDs or school email addresses and not sensitive data such as government ID, birth dates, and that in their investigation, they have found zero evidence that any sensitive information was compromised. Health authorities across the globe rushing to trace and contain that outbreak of hantavirus. But the World Health Organization says some rare human-to-human transmission could be at play in recent cases. WHO says 5 confirmed infections have now been identified among people connected to the cruise ship MV Hondius. 3 passengers were evacuated from the ship off the coast of West Africa Wednesday. So far, 3 people, a Dutch couple and a German national, have died since that ship left Argentina last month. The cruise ship's company says the vessel will arrive at Spain's Canary Islands this weekend. Nearly 150 people on board are under strict precautionary measures. Dr. Stephen Cornfield from right here in the Pacific Northwest is currently on board the cruise ship helping to treat infected passengers.
We now have 2, during the evacuation, we were able to get 2 WHO epidemiologists and 2 Danish ID doctors. So now there's a great team on board who is really going through every aspect of this infection, how it spread, and what it means for the passengers remaining, both for their health and for their possible transmission down the road. So I'm feeling pretty good that most people will get off the boat relatively soon, and hopefully I will get off soon also.
In the meantime, U.S. health authorities are monitoring 3 people who previously got off that ship and returned to their homes in Georgia and Arizona. World Health Organization stressing there is no evidence of a widespread transmission risk. President Trump says there will be a pause in the war between Russia and Ukraine, which has waged since 2022. Bradley Warren has the latest details on the potential peace deal.
Yeah, hey, Sean, we're watching it right now as it does look like a suspension of all activity and a prisoner swap of 1,000 prisoners from each country will take place over the next 3 days. The war started when the Russian military entered the country from Belarus, Russia, and Crimea in an effort to regain control over Ukraine. President Trump, to some extent, has been working towards a peace deal for the last several years between the two nations, but Russia and Ukraine are at an impasse over whether a peace deal would include Ukraine giving up territory. The president says that the leaders of Russia and Ukraine have agreed to a request for a 3-day ceasefire and an exchange of prisoners. The president says this could be, quote, the beginning of the end of the long war between them. He also added that peace talks are continuing. And on that notion, we learned today from Reuters that officials had arrived in Miami for a series of meetings with U.S. representatives for peace talks to continue. So we'll monitor that. The 3-day pause looks like it's in effect right now. Sean?
All right, Bradley, appreciate it. Bradley live in the Pulse for us. The Pentagon has released what they call never-before-seen files on UFOs. President Trump ordered that release, you remember, earlier this year. Pentagon posted on X that Americans can get instant access to the files on what is now being referred to as UAPs. Interest in extraterrestrials spiked in February after former President Obama talked about them on a podcast. He said aliens are real, but he hasn't seen them. Later, he said that if the government had proof of alien life forms, he believes the information would have leaked long ago. You can see all the files released at the website war.gov/UFO. Across the Northwest, police in Thurston County sharing a unique feature to their body cameras, live translation. Most police departments in Washington State have body cameras implemented in 2022, with Seattle Police Department being one of the first to use them. Tumwater Police Chief Carlos Quiles says that even though funding for new police equipment is hard to come by for smaller cities like his, he knew one feature was important for their cameras.
This is a pretty important piece of equipment, not only for us, but for the community as well. So body-worn cameras is just another tool that allows us to continue to be transparent, right? And it allows the community to show that, hey, our officers do the right thing. And this just allows them to verify.
Police say live language translation software on the cameras is vital for diverse communities like that in Washington State, but it ensures officers are able to effectively communicate in any situation. Tumwater Police say they are now working to secure funding for drones, which they say are critical in finding missing people and surveying large crime scenes while keeping officers safe on the job. Well, would you be willing to pay more property tax to keep local libraries running? That is the question you will face this August when the Spokane County Library District levy will appear on the ballot. NonStop Local KHQ's Melinda Lee shares why 10 local libraries are seeking more money to keep providing much more than books to the community.
I grew up in the library. It was always just a place that I could go and kind of felt at home. And I just liked that there was no expectations, like you don't have to come in and purchase anything. You just hang out and find what you need.
We want to be that place for everyone in the community.
10 Spokane County libraries are seeking taxpayer help to keep providing services for their communities.
Our locations are Deer Park, North Spokane by Whitworth, Otis Orchard, Spokane Valley, Argonne, Fairfield, Medical Lake, Area Heights, and Cheney, and Moran Prairie on the South Hill too. The city of Spokane and Liberty Lake have their own libraries, but we are everywhere else.
SCLD's executive director Patrick Rowe says those 10 locations were busy last year.
We had 681,000 visits, 2.2 million books checked out. We want to be able to continue those services without any reduction. So we're 97% of our revenue comes from dedicated property tax for Spokane County Library District.
So on this year's August primary ballot, they're asking Spokane County voters to approve their first library levy since 2019. It would raise the district's rate from 33 cents to 45 cents per $1,000 of assessed value.
Washington state law limits property tax increases to 1% annually each year. And so consequentially, our revenue is limited to 1% each year as well. So we're kind of at a point we need to return back to the voters to ask them to restore our levy rate so we can continue to provide our services.
Services that bring people in for a lot more than books.
We found ourselves during the heat of the summer or the cold of winter being a place people can come in and warm up or cool down.
We have a lot of people that, especially here in Otis Orchards, don't have reliable internet, so they come in and they use the internet, or sometimes it's just nicer to come in and do it here. And then we also see a lot of families come in, they use the play area, we use our books, they come to story time.
So, our library is open to everybody. It's not a membership based, as long as you come in and abide by the rules, you're welcome to be here for as long as you'd like, and certainly use our resources while you're here.
Rowie wants to remind you that library summer reading programs are about to kick off. You can find those and other summer activities for kids on their website. Much more to come tonight here on this Friday at 6:30 in Our One Good Thing, a story of hope. A boy battling cancer posting a video asking for help that made it all the way to Washington, D.C. and helped him start a brand new treatment.
And a live look over Spokane. We're starting to see some of those clouds clear out. It's a perfect night for a baseball game. The wind's still a little bit breezy out there. We'll get a full look at Mother's Day weekend when we see you back here coming up after the break. about we get you into the weekend? Here's a look over Spokane. We've got clearing skies out there, so that's good news. Still a bit breezy, though, and we'll talk a bit more about that. Temperatures a little bit cooler after that cold front moving through. 68 in Spokane, 66 degrees in Coeur d'Alene, 65 in Pullman, and currently sitting at 70 degrees for our friends in Tooele. Again, wind speeds anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. Some of those wind gusts, though, back into central Washington in particular, still anywhere from 30 to 40 miles per hour. You can see it about 37 miles per hour right now in Wenatchee, down towards Hermiston into Pendleton. Again, anywhere from 30, 40 mile per hour gusts. That extends all the way back into the Dalles. Now for tonight, we've got that wind advisory. It's set to expire at 11 o'clock this evening. It is again for Kettitas County, and that's where we could see some of those wind gusts at about 40, 45 miles per hour. You can see this on our futurecast. The wind's pretty feisty until we get to past that midnight hour, and then the winds do start to settle down a bit back towards Ellensburg and again towards Vantage. Still looking a little bit breezy for tomorrow morning. Otherwise, we should be good to go. You can see satellite radar, just a bit of activity up along the Canadian border. Otherwise, the real action is up towards BC, over towards Alberta. That line pushing down through parts of western and central Montana, up towards Glacier Park. I'm seeing a few lightning strikes there. We'll call for partly to mostly cloudy skies overnight tonight. Lows dipping down to the mid-40s for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. We've got 42 tonight for both Colville and Pullman, 47 overnight tonight in Lewiston. Back into central Washington, 45 in Omak, Moses Lake, down through Wenatchee, Connell, 50-degree temperatures expected for the Tri-Cities. So again, gusty winds continue through this evening. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Through the weekend, we do have some clouds in and out of the forecast. Temperatures, though, 70s and 80s. And then we've got a nice stretch of warm weather that continues through that 7-day forecast. On our futurecast, looks really similar. We keep getting these waves, these little systems that flatten out our ridge. So for tomorrow, what we're seeing is this system pushing over to the east of us. So Montana seeing the bulk of that activity. You can see those clear skies overhead that extend all the way down the west coast. So again, mostly sunny as we kick off our day on Saturday. Increasing clouds as that next wave pulls in. That'll flatten out our ridge as we get you into the day on Sunday. 74 degrees, that's our high in Spokane. 73 in Coeur d'Alene. Daytime highs up across the northern mountains, pretty similar. We've got low to mid 70s for the Panhandle, and then we pop into the mid to upper 70s and 80s from Republic, Colville back into Omak and Brewster at 81 degrees. Cascade Valleys, places like Leavenworth, 84 degrees, 79 degrees are high tomorrow in Moses Lake, mid 70s for Davenport down through Ritzville. And for those daytime highs over towards Montana, we're starting to see that warm up. So 70-degree temperatures in Kalispell. We've got upper 70s for Troy and for Libby, upper 70s down through Lewiston and Orofino, just the upper 60s and low 70s though for Grangeville into the Palouse. 7-day forecast. We do see those temperatures spike on Mother's Day. Again, a few clouds starting to push in. And then as we get you into the weekend, we've got mid 70s on Monday. We are just chasing that 80-degree temperature. So we're skirting it on Sunday for Mother's Day. Cloud coverage, that'll kind of hinder it if it does, if the clouds move in a little bit faster. Right now we're watching for Tuesday. Otherwise, 70s continue through that 7-day. It's beautiful. Actually, we'll take this. It's been a very quiet start to the month of May.
Would it be egregious if we just rounded up 1 degree and just called it 80 for Mother's Day?
We could do that.
Is that not
Why
a thing?
not? Why, well,
it's not officially a thing.
It's not officially a thing, but you know, we're close enough.
Let's call it.
Some
All right.
places will be at 80.
Guess what?
There we go.
Guess what? It's your weekend.
It is my weekend. It's also your weekend. You've got a couple more things to do, but you're out of here.
A couple more scripts to read, but happy Mother's Day, Leslie.
Thank
we
you
appreciate
so much.
you.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you so much. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Hi to all the kids, the young adults.
Yes, and same to you, and a
All right.
happy Mother's Day to your mama and your beautiful wife.
All right, I'll share, but I think they may have just heard you. Your health news tonight: advances in cancer detection technology, new artificial intelligence tools changing how doctors can spot who's at risk for lung cancer even before it appears on a scan. Doctors at MIT have developed a tool called Sybil, which can analyze a single CT scan and predict lung cancer risk years ahead of time.
What Sybil is doing is something that the radiologist can't do, which is try and predict what's going to happen a year from now, 2 years from now, that may not be on the image today.
Sybil works through pattern recognition and has been trained on tens of thousands of scans to find biological signals that indicate potential cancer development. According to new data from PricewaterhouseCoopers, GLP-1 medicine, the fastest consumer disruptions ever, with millions of Americans changing their shopping habits after going on to the medicine. The consulting firm saying there is a growing trend of GLP-1 friendly options labeled in stores. Analysts say consumers are still spending about the same amount of money, just on different items than before. Mother's Day gifts could cost you a little more this year, with prices at wholesale flower markets spiking in some areas. Florists point to higher gas prices and tariffs and two major causes of the price hikes.
We have products that fly in from Ecuador, Colombia to Miami, and then they're driven from Miami to Los Angeles by truck. So the fuel cost is extremely expensive right now, and it affects the cost of the flowers.
Vendors say they're offering smaller arrangements to help customers stay within their budgets, but they are still concerned as the cost of materials continues to rise. Time to check your Friday evening business headlines. Here's Brandon Gomez.
This is CNBC News Now. I'm Brandon Gomez. U.S. markets were higher across the major indexes to end the week, following a better-than-expected job report as investors eyed developments between the U.S. and Iran. The Dow gained 12 points, the S&P 500 rose 62, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ gained 441 points. Job creation was better than expected in April, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The latest jobs report showed non-farm payrolls higher by a seasonally adjusted 115,000 for the month, better than the 55,000 expected, but down from March. The unemployment rate held at 4.3%, a sign that only modest job creation is needed to keep the jobless level steady. April also saw another drop in the labor force and decline in tech-related jobs in the low-fire environment in place since early 2025. And ABC has accused the FCC of violating its free speech rights over the agency's scrutiny of The View. In a filing to the agency, the Disney-owned broadcast network said regulators had a, quote, chilling effect on free speech by trying to punish political content with which they disagreed. The filing came in response to the FCC's efforts to enforce an equal airtime requirement for political candidates. The move by ABC is the most aggressive defense from any TV network toward the Trump administration. That's today's CNBC News Now.
I'm Sam Adams with Collide Talk. Hope you'll join us next week on the Wake Up Show.
The warm weather could mean a fierce fire season. We're tracking how long will go before the region gets rain.
And prepping for the parade, the new route for the Lilac Torchlight Parade. Will explain why it's shorter next week.
And tonight's One Good Thing is about courage. A 15-year-old with stage 4 bone cancer has started a new treatment after a video he posted online gained widespread attention and strong support. Will Roberts, whose cancer has spread throughout his body, received his first round of Delta Rex G treatment at a facility in California. His family said chemotherapy simply was no longer working. And he sent a video asking for any help and access to the Delta Rex treatment. Well, he got a massive response with his message heard all the way in Washington, D.C. Will got a visit from Dr. Oz, a FaceTime call from Senator Katie Britt, and a phone call from Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Will's mom shared her gratitude online, and you can follow their journey. She says that it wouldn't have happened if Will never asked for help, calling him a fearless role model. That's a wrap on the Work Week. I'm Sean Owsley. Thanks for being with us each and every night. Take care. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, including mine.